Wow! Daily Mail is really going there. Hi and welcome to Blossom Talk. I'm Jackie Floor, journalist, Hollywood truth teller, and your voice of reason in a town built on delusion. Okay, Daily Mail is going all in. This article about Blake Lively is mind-blowing. They are not holding back on how they feel about Blake Lively. And I found another interview with TJ Miller, who I spoke about yesterday, who used to hate Ryan Reynolds and now is one of his new BFFs. And here he actually addresses the hate Ryan is receiving online, and this makes him look even worse. Okay, and we have to talk about Rebel Wilson's case that is now being connected to Blake Lively's case. And as you know, Blake Lively has desperately tried to use evidence from Rebel Wilson's case in her case. Now Rebel Wilson is making the record straight and sharing some really interesting evidence. Oh, and I was laughing so hard watching this interview with Viola Davis on Amy Poehler yesterday, talking about intimate scenes, maybe a lesson for Blake Lively to learn here. And I wanted to share something Nicole Kidman said about kissing scenes and why she had to tell off Alexander Skarsgård. Okay, so let's jump right into the story from the Daily Mail. I started reading this and I was like, oh, okay, they're just reporting on what Paul Feig said on the red carpet at the Oscars. I see another simple favor, and a simple favor director Paul Feig has been supporting Blake Lively throughout this entire legal feud, and he keeps doing it. And I reported on it a couple of days ago because he was interviewed on the red carpet at the Oscar, and he said, you know, Blake is doing great and she's soldiering on and her marriage is great and her kids are great, whatever. Anyways, that's just the beginning of the story. And then Daily Mail keeps going on about all the controversies in Blake Lively's case and all the things that she has done and said. And it makes her look horrific. As I said, it starts off with some comments from Paul Feig. And then they continue saying Lively, brackets, born brown, accused Baldoni of retaliating against her with an online smear campaign after she alleged he SH'd her, including unscripted kissing on the set of their 2024 DV drama. However, Feig had no problem with the LA-born mother of four improvising, squeezing her on-screen husband Henry Golding's crotch while filming A Simple Favor in 2017, and eagerly encouraged her to grab his nuts harder.
The controversy escalated after reports highlighted tensions during the production of It Ends With Us. Allegations, denials, and conflicting narratives have created a complex and highly public situation. According to multiple reports, Blake Lively accused Justin Baldoni of inappropriate on-set behavior. Baldoni, in response, released material and statements defending his position, turning what might have stayed private into a public legal and media battle.
They also included the photo when this happened, and it says that's always awkward, like, hey, nice to meet you, can I grab your nuts really hard? Not because I want to, but because I feel like she would, Lively explained on the DVD commentary. And then the story continues. In a legal filing last November, Baldoni released footage of the secret of the Penguin's narrator. It's funny that they're making her the secret of the penguin narrator. She did narrate a movie or a documentary about penguins improvising an unscripted kiss on himself in a deleted hospital scene, which she had not agreed to. And they added the photo of that as well. And as you know, Blake Lively and her team has not come out and commented on this yet. They have not said that, oh, that didn't happen, so obviously it's true. Then they say this: Lively had never even worked with an intimacy coordinator before It Ends With Us. She only worked 16 days on set and yet successfully scored the coveted PGA credit after masterminding a hostile takeover of the entire production. Wow! Daily Mail is really going there. If you have any friends or colleagues who are wondering what this case is really about, you should forward this story to them and say, hey, this is why I am on Justin Baldoni's side here. Then they continue. the ex-BFF of Taylor Swift. I love how they're giving her all these names, who requires authorships on all her films, took over directing, script, wardrobe, score, and editing departments by threatening to pull out of promoting the movie with support from distributor Sony Pictures.
As the situation unfolded, older footage and commentary began resurfacing. Clips from previous film sets, interviews, and DVD commentaries, now being viewed through a different lens. Some reports pointed to moments of improvisation during filming that sparked debate about boundaries and professional conduct. However, it's important to note, many of these claims remain disputed and have not been fully resolved in court.
They're also throwing Sony under the bus in this article. I'm so amused by reading this, by the way, as you can tell. Finally, someone has the guts to actually tell it like it is. And then they talk about the backlash, and they continue saying the lively backlash began after she was cast in the role of a much younger 23-year-old florist, and she didn't help her likability with her sarcastic answers about DV and floral-filled Barbie-style promotion directly tied to her hair care and booze brands. The marketing for It Ends With Us was masterminded by Renault's company, Maximum Effort. The Canadian 49-year-old shell company Van Zandt was also behind the sham lawsuit that issued the subpoena exposing Wayfarer publicist Jennifer Abel's text messages, which were published by the New York Times in bad faith in 2024. Wow, not a lot of outlets has touched upon the Van Zandt lawsuit. It is very controversial. And although, as you know, Blake Lively's attorneys came out and said this is completely normal, most legal experts and lawyers that I've listened to say this is not normal and this is super shady. And they also mentioned this. The Gossip Girl alum, who also issued 107 subpoenas to ordinary content creators, would not have had any case without the Van Zandt subpoena. As you know, she subpoenaed me and 106 other people. One of the content creators Blake Lively subpoenaed had 1 follower on YouTube. And again, a lot of outlets did not touch upon this story, so kudos to Daily Mail for actually mentioning this as well, which really shows a lot about the strategy from her legal team of just intimidating all critical voices. Then they end this with, Lively set to face off against the 42-year-old filmmaker and his PR team in Manhattan U.S. District Court starting May 18. But the general public have already sided with Baldoni. Wow, Leslie Sloan must be fuming. I wonder how many emails and phone calls have been happening between Daily Mail and Leslie Sloan since this was published. Yeah, this is really, really bad for Blake. Okay, so let's dig into this new video of TJ Miller. But before we get into that, I wanted to thank the sponsor of this video, Raycon Essential Open Earbuds.
Media coverage has played a major role in shaping public perception. Some outlets have taken a critical stance, highlighting inconsistencies and questioning decisions. Others have urged caution, reminding audiences that legal cases require evidence, not assumptions. What's clear is this: the narrative surrounding Blake Lively is no longer one-dimensional.
With spring on its way, I've been spending even more time outside. And every morning when I walk Oscar and prepare for the day's episode, listening to the news or listening to other podcasts, or maybe I'm on a phone call, I always use my Raycon Essential Open Earbuds. What I really like about this is the open air design. I have really small air flips, so it's really hard for me to find actual earbuds that sits in my ear and don't fall out all the time. And that's why I love this design. I don't run myself, off, but I can imagine if you are a runner, these are going to be a game changer. Regular earbuds blocks out everything around you, but these just sit outside the ear canal so you can listen to music, listen to a podcast, whatever you're doing, without blocking out the entire world. So you can actually hear what's happening around you. If there's a car coming, if there's a bike coming, if someone's yelling at you, whatever it is, you will be present. They're also super lightweight, so you don't even notice that you're wearing them. 8 hours of playtime and up to 36 hours with the case. I charge these about once a week only. The Essential Open earbuds are perfect for refreshing your routine this spring. Click on the link in my description box or go to buyraycon.com/FlowOpen, my last name, open, to get 20% off. That's buyraycon.com/FlowOpen. Okay, so let's get into another video of TJ Miller when he's interviewed on another podcast. I spoke about TJ Miller yesterday because he all of a sudden came out and said that him and Ryan are really good friends, and he just spoke to him on the phone a couple of days ago, and he's so funny and he's so loyal and he would always support him and Ryan supports him. And I showed the interview that he did 3 years ago when he basically said that Ryan was horrifically mean to him and that he felt that he was insecure and that he never wanted to work with him again. I found this other interview that TJ Miller did 7 months ago. So here he's asked about his own controversies because he's been cancelled many times already. I'll get a little bit into all the things that he's been accused of later after I've shown you this clip, because TJ Miller is extremely controversial and he's been accused of horrific things, okay? But now Ryan wants to be his friend. When he was asked about the backlash against Ryan in this podcast, he gave this priceless answer.